What is up, Heffas and friends? Welcome to another episode of Java and Journeys with Jillian. If you're new here to this channel, how are you? My name is Jillian, and welcome to another Walk and Talk Wednesdays. For my Heffas out there who are new to Walk and Talk Wednesday, baby, welcome. Essentially, we use this day just to catch up, chit chat while we're visiting our favorite theme parks. And y'all, today we are at Disney's Hollywood Studios, just hanging out. And y'all, the weather is much better than it has been in Florida. So, in case you've missed it, Florida has been experiencing a crazy cold snap. And y'all, I'm not talking about being a Floridian that's complaining when the weather drops below 70 degrees. No, baby, it has been like in the 30-degree area with like like 10-degree wind chill. And y'all, it has just been insanely cold. Today, it is a bit warmer. It is in the low 60s, I think, right now. I actually think that by the time I get out of here at Hollywood Studios, it's probably going to dip into the 50s, but that's okay. I would much rather deal with that than to deal with 30-something degree weather with like a 10 or below that wind chill, because we don't have time for all that. So, Heffas, let's go ahead and get into our walk and talk. And listen, if you have your walking shoes on, lace those up, baby. Get your exercise on while you're watching me. Or if you're like, girl, bye, I did my workout this morning, or I don't feel like working out, it's been a long day, I'm ready to relax. That's okay too. Cozy up, get your favorite beverage, find that comfy spot, and let's just enjoy the ambiance together. So, Heffas, it has been a long time since I have actually had a themed walk and talk. Oftentimes, especially if you're new here, what I try to do is theme the walk and talks around a specific subject, right? So we'll talk about pop culture things or anything that's top of mind for Heffa Nation going on up here. And y'all, talk about anything and everything within reason, okay? Don't try to get me banned or blocked here on YouTube. So as long as we keep it cute, okay? And don't make it too spicy, especially because I am at Disney, okay? And the children are around. So I got to be careful about the things that, I talk about and the level of detail I go about it. But as long as we keep it cute, sis, we can talk about anything. So what is on the agenda for tonight? Well, Heffas, I don't know if you have seen this. I love a good internet beef. I don't know about you all. And recently, there has been this crazy beef between D'Angelo Wallace and Caleb Hammer. And if you're like, Heffa, I don't know who these people are, that is okay. Because I didn't, until this beef happened, I knew Caleb. I think I've actually referenced Caleb, like maybe casually here and there a time or two on my channel. I did not know who D'Angelo was. I only just found out about him because of these beefs. So like, y'all, let this be a lesson to Caleb before we get into it. And I would say, just in general, the Streisand effect is real. And what that means is sometimes it's best to just be quiet and not say anything, y'all. I try not to get into any drama with anybody. So I don't know what that's like. And I hope to never find myself in a position where I have a complete blow up with someone. But here's a lesson. Take a lesson from this whole situation. I think in general, when we see some of our internet faves going back and forth with each other, and even like celebrities going back and forth with each other, and how ugly it can get, AKA Nicki Minaj, Cardi B. But like sometimes it's best to just let things go, right? Don't give attention to something, especially if there's no merit to it, unless it's like extremely defamatory. But y'all, I'm going to talk about this situation as we are coming up on the Runaway Railway ride. What's up, Whitney? Y'all, I was telling my sister about my beef, and I'm like, you have to watch. You have to watch and learn about what is happening. But y'all, so let me tell you what had happened as we're walking around. And y'all, Runaway Railway, one of my favorite rides here at Hollywood Studios. So much fun. Highly recommend it. Basically, just to tell you really quick what this ride is all about for those of you who may be unfamiliar. Essentially, Mickey and Minnie find themselves getting into some shenanigans on their way to a picnic. And you all know that part of this is Goofy's fault, okay? Because you all know Goofy like to start, he like to start things up on the side, oftentimes accidentally because he's so clumsy. So anyway, it's them basically trying to find their way to having like this perfect picnic, perfect day, and getting past some shenanigans and taking us along the ride with them. So very cute ride. But let's get back into this beef, shall we? So if you're unfamiliar, Caleb Hammer is sort of like a financial advisor slash enthusiast, has a massive following, right? You may have seen his clips, especially if you're someone, if you are interested in ever thinking about like budgeting, financial advice, whatever. It would not shock me because of the algorithm that his videos may pop up on your feed. And D'Angelo Wallace, who I've come to find out, is an internet commentator. So he is someone that really gives some insightful perspective on different like things that are going on, pop cultural things, celebrities, different figures. Like he just talks about a little bit of anything and everything. But I think he is an extremely insightful individual. Again, never heard of D'Angelo until all this happened. So basically, what kicked all this off is that D'Angelo had a video where he gave Caleb some criticism. You may be asking, why would he be criticizing Caleb if he is just a, you know, modest financial advisor? What is there to criticize about? Y'all, not that I'm trying to promote you to watch either D'Angelo or Caleb, watch who you would like to watch. But basically, y'all, Caleb is like very fiery. And I'm putting it mildly because as the joke and the running scheme is going now, the gag is, it's like, we're not trying to get sued by Caleb since apparently he has the best lawyers in Texas. So we're going to try to keep it cute and respectful. So Caleb is very spicy. And this is essentially part of what D'Angelo's feedback or criticism is of Caleb. D'Angelo's like, listen, like, it's not even about the fact that he gets so spicy with his guests. It's the type of language very, from D'Angelo's perspective, misogynistic, racist. And from Caleb's perspective, he's like, well, any guest that comes on my show gives me the consent to basically roast them and berate them. Like that's a part of the shtick. So for Caleb, let's just say if you were someone and you are having financial difficulties, right? Like you keep affirming things, you keep putting things on credit cards, whatever, you go on Caleb's show, right? So apparently his team of people, they'll prep you and all that. You'll sign off your you'll sign off on your like consent forms or whatever, legalese or documentation that he has for you to go on his show. So he'll sit down, he'll go through your finances, but y'all, he will cuss you clearly out. And it's not even just like the cussing out. He will call you anything and everything that comes to mind. He will make you feel straight stupid. Now, here's the caveat to all of this. Some of the people he has on his show, they are special. And you can tell that his producer, I think her name is Lindsay, his team seeks out people who are different in many different ways. Like maybe they are willfully ignorant. They have maybe a certain lifestyle that they're trying to keep up with, right? And it's very clear that they can't, but they refuse to like really handle their finances from a way that's like sensible or mature, because what's the entertainment in that, right? Like he actually had people who were level-headed, who were in desperate need of help, but like wanted to have a really good constructive conversation. Y'all, there's no entertainment in that. So we just have to be real. And just, I want to throw that out there that Caleb has grown in so much popularity. And again, because of this beef and so many people have been talking about it, they have, yes, Whitney. So like extremely special, very special cases. Like it's not often that he has people on his show that are just like cool, calm and collected. And like, the average person like you or I, Heffas, there are some people that he has on his show that maybe they are like genuinely seeking help, but maybe they dress a certain way, they look a certain way. And so he will poke fun at that. So again, this is a very like mild example. If you go on his show, let's just say you're someone who is a part, and this is like going back to this beef, like maybe you're a part of the alt community. Maybe you're someone that has a lot of piercings. You have like different color hair. Maybe you're someone that is in a poly, like look at me talking about this, y'all. Heffas After Dark, talking about spicy things. But maybe you're in a poly relationship, or maybe, I don't know, you have like a fetish or a kink or something like that. And if he knows that, he's going to expose that and like pick at it. And he's going to find like examples in your finances and like call you out and exploit you and make fun of you and call you everything but a child of God. Okay. That is Caleb's thing. But again, he emphasizes that, well, my guests give me consent. So why should that should not be anything that you criticize me for, because my guests know what they're getting into. Now, to be fair, a lot of people who go on Caleb's show know what Caleb's shtick is. They know they're going to get yelled at and get made fun of. Now, to the extent of knowing what Caleb's going to say, you don't know. So like, I could go on Caleb's show and Caleb could be like, you flat, you fat, black, da 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 da. I may have given Caleb consent to quote unquote cuss me out and like tell me about myself, but maybe I didn't think he was going to call me fat and be fat phobic. Maybe I didn't think, like, I'm just using that as a very, like, he will call you fat for sure too. But I'm using it as an example where it's like, maybe I'm expecting for Caleb to make fun of me, but I don't know that he's going to call me like some type of slur or something like that. Right. So there's that angle to it. But also, y'all, given how things are today in this world, like politically and with this like manosphere culture on the rise, and like a lot of just really bad behavior going on in terms of how people think they can talk to you, especially certain pockets, certain communities of people, how women are talked about, especially women of color, right? Megan Thee Stallion talks about this all the time about like believe Black women. So there are some people who are like very anti-woman, very anti-equal rights, very much like anti-DEI, right? Like all of that. And basically what D'Angelo's argument was, yes, it's like the language is what Caleb is saying, but it's like, the environment that we're in right now, my dude. Like you see that there are communities, especially here in the US, that are literally fighting for their rights right now. And you're sitting here using this misogynistic, racist, homophobic, transphobic, fatphobic language, and you're feeding into that culture because your audience looks at that and they think it's okay. I personally, y'all, and looking at Caleb's stuff, I'm going to be 100. I thought that Caleb Hammer on Financial Audit was a character that he was playing. I never looked at, I never quite paid attention sometimes to what he was saying, because in some of the videos that I would see of his, some of his guests were truly outrageous. And they would make certain comments. It's almost kind of like when you see Gordon Ramsay go to a restaurant and people are like, Gordon, I need your help. And Gordon's like, okay, I'm trying to tell you like what to do, but you're not listening to me. So I'm going to call you an idiot sandwich, right? I'm going to embarrass the F out of you and I'm going to make you look dumb and stupid because you're not listening to me. And sometimes I wonder if Gordon Ramsay, the person, is also the same person that we see on Kitchen Nightmares or the slew of shows that he has, right? Because anyone that watches Gordon Ramsay, the nicest that you'll ever see Gordon Ramsay is when he's doing like that MasterChef Junior, because Gordon's not trying to be sued, okay? Gordon's like, listen, I'm not trying to have nobody's parent come cuss me out and cancel me because I called your kid like something incredibly offensive. And also, I think Gordon's level-headed to know that like these are kids, right? They're aspiring chefs or aspiring cooks or whatever. So it's like, let's not crush their dreams right away. Like, let's crush their dreams slowly. Let's make them think that they still have hope. So it's kind of like that in extent, except Caleb is far worse than Gordon in terms of his use of slurs. Like even D'Angelo pointed this out, that he called him the R word like over 40 times. So let me like step back just a little bit. So basically D'Angelo gives this commentary about, how Caleb's language and how he talks is essentially adding to a lot of the problems that we're facing nowadays. And y'all, we're still continuing to take a walk. Welcome to Walk and Talk Wednesday, talking about this D'Angelo and Caleb Hammer beef, if you're just joining the channel. And what I would definitely recommend, there's some people that have given some commentary. You could definitely just like go on YouTube and type in like D'Angelo Wallace, Caleb Hammer beef, or just their names. And like you will see videos pop up from both Caleb and D'Angelo, but also other people who are talking about this. So I encourage you to do so if you have no idea what I'm talking about. just so you can hear like other POVs. But needless to say, so D'Angelo gives this commentary and Caleb reacts to it. So, y'all, if let's just say if someone's like, Jillian, that Heffa had the audacity to talk about me and give me criticism, I'm going to also do a video about Jillian. Now, I would like to think, Heffas, and you all have my permission, mark it. It is 7:15 Eastern time on a Wednesday in February, early February 2026. Mark it, okay? If I would like to think, and Heffas, you hold me accountable, that when I have given criticism about anything, whether it's a celebrity, more often than not, it's going to be of a restaurant or experience that I've had, whether that's at Disney, Universal, somewhere in Florida, outside of Florida, during my travels. But I try to be very respectful of my criticism, right? I am a little less respectful. Like, I don't mind going harder in on like Disney or Universal because these are mega corporations. They're not about to lose any coin because I think the food sucks at a certain place, right? So I don't mind being a little bit more blunt. And y'all, we're coming upon the Hollywood Tower of Terror to discuss this terrifying situation. But I would like to think, Heffas, that if someone got that incensed or offended about something that I said, or they want to do some sort of video back, that at the very least, you will give me the same like courtesy that I gave you in terms of how you want to come at me. So if you're going to say, well, Jillian, that Heffa is, she gave me feedback and how dare she because she doesn't know this XYZ, just keep it cute. And we won't have any problems. But if you're going to really come hard at me, just know that we will have some issues, right? So D'Angelo, if you look, because again, I never heard of D'Angelo. He's been around for a while. He talks about this now, y'all. He talked about his age, but he basically have comparison. D'Angelo, I want to say he's either 26 or 27, and he has been on YouTube for a long time. He took a little bit of a break, but has recently hopped back on. But he has a large following, not as large as Caleb, though, which is why I'm shocked that Caleb even decided to give this whole thing life. And y'all, we're just walking around the Tower of Terror. We're going to circle back around because it's a little bit dark back here. And here's the cue for the ride. We have some folks cheering in the background. But so I did not think D'Angelo went that hard. It was very fair criticism. D'Angelo did not call Caleb like crazy names. He didn't cuss Caleb clean out. He just said, listen, I don't think this person is credible as a financial advisor. Here's why. And part of what D'Angelo said, if you're someone that watches Caleb Plummer and you're watching it like from a lens of being like unbiased in this whole thing, listen, Heffas, like, hey, I don't go. This is me personally, Jillian. When I watch Caleb's stuff, I actually don't look to Caleb to give me financial advice because all the advice he gives to his people are common sense, right? Basically, don't spend money that you don't have. Don't go out to eat when you don't have money to go out to eat with. Don't spend money on purchases that are stupid and not essential. Don't, I'm trying to think, like, take out a bunch of loans, right? And credit cards on things. Don't purchase a car and get like a crazy like 15, 60% APR loan. If like, that's ridiculous. That's insane, right? But like also, if you already don't have the money, then why are you getting a loan out on a car that you can't afford? So it's like, I never thought of Caleb as being like a certified financial advisor that I need to be seeking advice from. If anything, it was just entertaining because again, of the type of guests he would have on his show, and y'all, we are walking up on Rock and Roller Coaster, but the kind of guests he would have on their show, how his guests would react to him and how he would react to his guests. I'm going to tell you, if I were a betting person, I would bet that most of the time people are watching because of the entertainment factor, not because they're actually, maybe they are learning something. Maybe there are some folks out there that are learning something. And for you Heffas that watch Caleb Hammer, let me know, like, do you watch his show to actually get financial advice? I'm very curious. So if you do, tell me what's something that you've actually learned from him that you didn't already know going into it. But like, I thought what D'Angelo said was actually decent critique. Granted, I'm not Caleb Hammer, so who am I to tell a Heffa how much they should be mad when someone's coming for them? But I just didn't think that he said anything crazy. I think where Caleb probably got, if I could like pinpoint specific things that really set Caleb off, I think it's because he is selling like some financial audit resources. And there's this one, y'all, that he's selling that's like $1,000 like I don't know if it's like a spray, it's like a whole package of things, right? That you can get that's like $1,000. And so what D'Angelo was saying was like, this feels very predatory. And he called it out and said, listen, I haven't used any of these tools that Caleb has on his site, but this feels very predatory. Why are you charging $1,000 for like a package when like there's so many free or super discounted resources that are just available? Like, why are you charging people $1,000? If people are already struggling, you're basically asking them to pay $1,000. Now, also to be fair, he calls out other types of packages Caleb has. So it's not, if you're like, oh, I can't do the $1,000. Yes, I kid you not, $1,000, y'all. It's really crazy. And again, I'm like, I get it. I get the criticism. And so I think that set Caleb off because D'Angelo's basically saying that like it feels very predatory. It feels like as seen on TV kind of teams. And then I think the other thing that set Caleb off was the fact that D'Angelo was calling out the fact that the language and the things that how he chooses to go after the people who go on his show, again, very misogynistic, very racist. If you look at Caleb's thumbnails, D'Angelo's pointing out that oftentimes he's calling women all kind of beads. Like there's very specific language that he uses for certain types of guests on his show and based on how they look. And even like when they're talking with him, how he interacts with them. Y'all, the guitar never gets old for me. So I think that also set him off. So needless to say, D'Angelo gives like this critique, right? This criticism of Caleb. Caleb then has the caucasity to come back and do this 4-hour live stream ranting. And y'all, it's one thing if like, okay, you and I are talking. If I want to talk to you all like this for 4 hours, then okay, fine, right? But like as someone, and I think you have to be one of his paid members to even access the live stream now, but you could probably see snippets of it and D'Angelo talks about it on his channel. But y'all, when I tell you, Caleb went off for about 4 hours and he clear cut lost his mind. That is probably the biggest crash out I've seen of any person who's popular on YouTube. Mind you, Caleb has like millions and millions of views on a lot of his channels. He has millions of subscribers. He is far bigger than D'Angelo. Caleb probably has one of the top, if not the top, financial based YouTube channel. Y'all, they are having a good time. And it makes sense because so many people right now are going through it financially that I think if you're someone who, as like a quick little plug, if you're someone who's interested in talking about finances and giving advice, be careful what kind of advice you're giving. But there is, I think, a niche, a market, especially on YouTube, to talk about that because so many people are going through right now that they want the tips, they want the advice. So, baby, Caleb spent 4 hours basically cussing out D'Angelo, but he was talking so fast. I'm trying to think of an example like, let's just say if I'm cussing you out and I'm like reading you for filth and I'm like, you're never going to be nothing. You're never going to amount to nothing. You think that you're so smart. You're not. You're an idiot. You haven't done your research. And he's talking like fast like that. You're nothing. You're never going to be nothing. At least my channel helps people. You don't do anything. What have you done to help people? But like, it is just like the ultimate crash out. Yes, thank you. Like all true, right? And again, not knowing who D'Angelo was, seeing D'Angelo's video, then seeing the clips of Caleb crashing out, I was like, hold up, Caleb. First of all, take a breath. I don't know how anyone, if you have watched, like if anyone watched more than 30 minutes, let me know. Drop down in the comments and let me know if you were able to catch that live stream of Caleb going off on D'Angelo. Let me know how long you were able to actually watch the whole thing. There's no way. And even D'Angelo said this on his reaction to Caleb going off. He was like, I had to just download the transcript because it was so much and it was such an overreaction. I'm like, Caleb, baby, you have millions of subscribers. Let's just say if there was zero validity, zero truth to what D'Angelo was saying, what, like, you just gave D'Angelo basically a platform because I didn't know who he was. I immediately was like, this guy's not all bad. I mean, I'm sure that if I kept watching his stuff, maybe there's going to be something I don't agree with him, but he seems so far of like the couple of videos I've watched of D'Angelo, very like level headed, while Caleb is sitting here like going off. And the other thing that I think really put me off from Caleb, it really just flat out disappointed me and caused me as someone, like I said, I wasn't like an avid watcher of Caleb, but I definitely watched a lot of his shorts. I was a subscriber. I unsubscribed, me personally, because I'm like, baby, I can't do this. Like, first of all, as a Black woman and in this state going off like that, and especially when it's unwarranted, y'all, I can't do that. I'm like, you attack one of us, you attack all of us, especially when your attacks are so unreasonable and so like out there. So like he's sitting here going off on D'Angelo while he has his producer Lindsay and one of other his staff on the live stream as well, right? And y'all, I kid you not, watch this. Watch it for yourself, right? It kind of felt like you may have some friends in your life who are going to be down for you no matter what you do. They're going to agree with everything you say, everything you do, even if what you're saying is wrong. Those are the vibes that his staff, his producer Lindsay, the other gentleman that was on his stream while Caleb was going off, they were giving me those kind of teas. Like Caleb was sitting here going off, and at some point, I'm expecting for one of them to be like, Caleb, listen, we get that you're mad, but like, calm down, like to try to like turn the temperature down. And maybe they did at some point in the live stream, but I got the impression, y'all, that like his staff, they were just pretty much complicit in all that. Lindsay was even adding in. So Caleb was going off and she would be like, yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, he doesn't do his research. And I'm like, girl, do you have anything else to say? Like, how did he not? And every time Caleb tried to make a point in the way that he was carrying himself and going out, it's kind of like he was proving D'Angelo right. It was actually quite sad. I was like, this is not the way you want to go out. It's like seeing the downfall of Nicki Minaj. Maybe not at that epic level yet, but that is where I see Caleb heading if this is how he continues to respond to people, especially when people aren't giving him that energy, y'all. What do I always say, Heffas? Like, I will give you the energy that you were giving to me, but I also have a lot to lose because this is not my full-time job. Your girl's a straight up hustler. This is like the thing I do on the side because I do work full time and I have to prioritize the thing that pays my bills. So like I have too much to lose to act like that. I'm not a full-time YouTuber, so I can't be going off. But even if I were a full-time YouTuber, Heffas, like if you ever, again, we're at almost 7:30 Eastern time, early February 2026, you will hold me accountable. You know that if you ever see me going off like that on someone, if I'm telling someone you're never going to be nothing, you are nothing, you are like, I'm calling you everything but a child of God, right? I'm calling you the R word. I'm using all types of slurs to cuss you out. Then you know that someone did something god awful. Like someone went to my mama's house and slapped her. That is what happened. Someone went up to my sister and broke her arm again because y'all, she already broke her arm. Toward the end of, well, she didn't break her arm, she broke her wrist and fractured her hand and everything. But like, you did something like that. Like you harmed my family. And so I am cussing you out. And there was no reason for you to do that. Because if, let's just say in theory, my sister Whitney could be a little spicy. She on the chat. She knows how she could be. But like, I know my sister enough to know that like, I don't think that she would ever put someone, especially let's just say her gamer community or something, in a situation where they would have to come at her and call her a bunch of slurs and stuff. If someone did that to my sister, I'd be like, Heffa, what did you do? You did something terrible for someone to cuss you out like this. But he, like I said, used the R word, like called D'Angelo all sorts of stuff. I just did not like that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Caleb. And D'Angelo pointed this out. And again, I'm older than Caleb, so I feel like I can say this. At your big age of 30 years old, how are you responding like this? D'Angelo is a 27-year-old person and he is older. But like, again, this is not someone who went off on you in the same way that you're going off on him. So, y'all, Caleb goes through all this. And the other thing that was super off putting, because Caleb, he has a staff, he has a team. Yes, he makes a lot of money on his YouTube. He's wildly successful on YouTube. I don't think anyone's trying to take that away from him. But the other thing that was so off putting was that he was like, I have the best lawyers and I'm going to sue you, mother effer. And I'm going to sue you. You're nothing. You're not going to be anything. You don't have any money. I have the best lawyers, lawyer up. And again, I'm like, sue him for what? Sue him for what, babes? What are you going to sue him for? Because everything, again, D'Angelo talked about, it was very fair criticism. And he showed examples of things, and it's all about perspective and POV. When we're talking about defamation, which is what I guess, as someone who's not a lawyer, my guess is Caleb making all those threats was like, I'm going to sue you, D'Angelo, because you're defaming me. But I'm like, bro, I would not even have known about this had you shut up. Like, I kind of think, Caleb, you defamed yourself, right? Like, if you lose subscribers and you lose viewers over this, you have to be able to like really pinpoint that to D'Angelo, the person did this. And I'm like, honestly, if you lose people, it's not going to be because of D'Angelo's criticism. It's going to be because you went off like this. And maybe if people are like me, I'm like, it was just so off-putting. And especially an attack toward another person of color. I'm like, I don't think so. Not in today, not in the year 2026. Not on my watch. Like, if you're going off like that on one of my people and it's unwarranted and it's not right, you're using all type of slurs and stuff, we can be critical of each other. But again, keep it cute and keep it respectful. So the whole lawyer thing, y'all, I do not like bullies and I don't like people who it's so triggering for me because of even the stuff that I have experienced even very recently at my job. And if you all are curious about what I'm talking about, I can't go into any details, but I've kind of like very lightly, very, very, very lightly alluded to the fact that I have dealt with like some workplace bullying and being in hostile in a toxic work environment. And I cannot stand people who try to wield leverage power, the people that they know who are very powerful or seem very powerful, money, and they try to use that to attack you or come up against you because that's the best that they can do. They can't just like give you criticism and put a coherent thought together as to why they have a problem with you. They just don't like you for something stupid because they want to be able to control everything, control the narrative. And this circles back to Caleb because in what D'Angelo was saying, and again, like on Reddit, that Caleb and his like mods on his subreddit or whatever will like actively delete comments that people. So if there's anything critical about Caleb, like bro will just straight up delete it. And that's what he'll do. And I'm like, that is so, again, I'm like, I think about my channel and I'm just like, I honestly don't really get too many like crazy things. Every once in a while, I'll get like a crazy comment. Listen, I'm too grown. And again, I don't have time to go back and forth with you. So if your comment is like crazy, I'll delete it. But if it's like fair, like great example, y'all. One of my videos on my channel, I did a review on the Away luggage and the Noble luggage, and just talking about like the pros and cons, like what my thoughts were. And someone left a comment on my channel that was just like, I don't recommend Noble because their customer service apparently is like garbage. And I was like, hey, like, thank you, sis, for your comment. And thanks for letting me know. My sister has not had issues with this suitcase because it was my sister's suitcase, but I was showing it and reviewing it. And I'm like, to my knowledge, she hasn't had issues with the suitcase yet, but like, thank you for pointing that out. And that's it. I could have gone back and forth with this person and blew it up and made it something that it didn't have to be. I could have been like, girl, don't leave any criticism on my channel, or like, who cares about your opinion? I could have responded like that, but what what would be the point? So I just say that to say that, like, again, unless the comment that someone leaves on my channel, and y'all, we're crossing over into Galaxy's Edge right now, unless it's something that is just way out of left field and unreasonable, like, there's no why should I delete it? It's engagement, it's interaction. That's the whole point. Like, my walk and talks, for us to connect, for us to talk Java and journeys, are about my journeys, and like across all forms, right? Whether it's experiences that I'm having, the people that I'm meeting, the food that I'm trying, the coffee that I'm drinking, like, it's all a part of the story and the experience. And so Caleb apparently is someone who just does not like anything that seems like criticism. And he just went clean cut off. So after doing this 4-hour crazy live stream, at the end of it, flips the guy off and basically tells D'Angelo, like, I'll see you in court, MF or whatever. And then his little, like, producers in the background, like, bye. Like, someone left a comment. They're like, she thought she ate with that. And I was like, I agree. Lindsay thought she was doing her big one by being like, bye. I'm like, girl, you work for Caleb Hammer, not the other way around. So pipe down for 2 seconds. So then you may be asking yourself, all right, so we have this beef that's going on. Caleb basically said he was going to take D'Angelo to court. We don't know what he's going to try to sue D'Angelo for, but maybe it's for defamation. Maybe it's because he was acting like a little man baby and can't handle criticism. And so you're going to pull a Drake and try to pull your lawyers into something that, like, doesn't make sense to pull your, like, it's just such a, you, to me, leverage the legal system if you actually have a credible case. When you are, especially when you have money like that, I'm just like, Caleb, for real, this is how you want to use your time, but whatever. So you're probably asking yourself, is he going to file a lawsuit? Great question. Let me answer that for you, Heffa. So Caleb started backpedaling, and let me whisper because the kids are pussy popping. And y'all, there weren't any kids around me when I said that. I whispered it, but basically started backpedaling, and then sent, like, and this is something D'Angelo shares, like, I think he tried to, like, he either commented this or like sent some correspondence to D'Angelo, but basically, or I think he made a comment. I think he posted, like, pinned a comment and basically said, like, he thinks D'Angelo is a good person, basically, like, or he doesn't think that he's a bad person and would be willing to talk with him, and has tried reaching out to him, to which D'Angelo was like, well, I'm not active in my DMs like that on Instagram or whatever. So D'Angelo was like, maybe he was trying reaching out to me on that, but if he does, I have no interest in talking to this man. Which, when someone, like, cusses you out like that, like rips you from limb to limb unreasonably, then there is nothing to say. Like, you can't come back from that. I don't know what that's, y'all. We'll pin that. We'll come back to that. So D'Angelo was like, baby, I didn't lose any sleep. I was not afraid at all, because I know people like Caleb, and people like that talk a big game. And at the end of the day, they're not doing nothing because there's nothing to do. And so Caleb basically was like, it basically said on there, he's not going to file any type of lawsuit against D'Angelo. And what we can infer from that, Heffas, is that maybe Caleb talked to his legal team, and maybe his legal team was just like, unlike the people he works with, were like, bro, you can't, like, there's nothing, you don't have a case against this person. He literally didn't do anything. And if anything, you're going to exacerbate the situation, make it worse. Y'all, what I also didn't point out that really irritated, again, as a person of color, as a Black woman, what really pissed me off. Okay, this was something else that I was like, bro, I got to unsubscribe from you. So in Caleb's 4-hour live stream, I cannot believe I almost forgot to point this out. In his live stream, he has a Black employee, and I don't know, I can't remember the gentleman's name. Maybe it was like Robert or something. I feel like it was Robert. But y'all correct me in the comments if you remember old boy's name. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, oh God, Caleb, please don't. Because Caleb was like, I have a Black employee. And I'm thinking, I know this Heffa is not about to say what I think he's about to say. I know he's not about to say what I think he's about to say. Again, has the caucasity to then say, I'm going to call up my Black friend, and I'm putting that in air quotes, to tell him that D'Angelo thinks I'm the most racist person ever. So he calls up his black employee, black friend, whoever, and was like, I'm talking about this D'Angelo guy, and y'all, let's like take in the view. Because I feel like right now we're dealing with some villains. Talking about some villains. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So he goes, I'm gonna call my my black associate or whatever. So he calls old dude up and he's like, can you believe D'Angelo said I'm the most racist person? First of all, D'Angelo never said that. Literally never came out of his mouth. He says that Caleb uses racist language. He never called Caleb a racist, like you are a racist person. So his friend again, and I was like, please, 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 please respond in kind, respond in kind. So his like black friend associate, whatever, was like laughing and was like, no, he was like, am I racist? He was like, no, I'm not racist. Or he was like, no, you're not racist. You're not racist, whatever. The employee who I think he also called, who shows up by, and again, I can't recall this is the same video or somewhere. Caleb asked this guy to get him some Tylenol. He's like, D'Angelo, you see, I'm asking my black employee for some Tylenol. Hope you don't think that's racist. Like, let's see what you have to say about that. Don't try crashing out. I'm like, my dude, you're the one who's crashing out. And also, why are you, y'all, if someone is accusing you of being racist, why would you then commit the two biggest mistakes that I think you could commit if you're trying to prove a point? First of all, call your black friend or whatever ethnicity they're saying you're being racist against. Number one. Number two, why would you do that? And or then tell that person to go get you something because it's giving maid vibes. It's giving servant vibes. And that is not, and I'm saying that's what it's giving. That's obviously not what the intention was, but it's like, if you were saying, Jillian, you're racist and you hate, I'm black. But let's just say if you're like, you hate white people, or maybe you say you hate black people and you're displaying some coolish behavior, which I will start laughing. And let's just say, then I say, you know what, like all YT people. So like, I don't hate white, let me call my one white friend and all that, and then go in to perpetuate some behavior. That will look so mad. That will look so crazy. If I'm like, I don't hate, like white people or black people. And then in the same vein, I'm like, hey, you white so-and-so, go do this for me. Or like, I hate YT people or whatever, right? No, look at this. This is what we need in our life. We need the Millennium Falcon to come save Caleb and rescue him from the dark side, because I think he got possessed or something, y'all. He's struggling with those dark forces, y'all. So, y'all, like, it's so wild to me. It is so wild to me. So, he calls his black friend. Of course, his black friend's like, you're not racist. Tell his black employee to go get him some Tylenol or something. And y'all, he didn't say this curt. I'm making it sound just like asked him to go, if he can get him some aspirin, because he's yelling and needs to take a breath and calm down. Otherwise, he's going to give himself an aneurysm. And like, oh, I asked my black employee to go do this. That make me racist. And I'm like, really, dude? Really, Heffa? This is what you're going to do? So I meant to call that out because I was just like, I can't. And y'all, let me tell you what his black friend should have done. If my white friends, if any of my white friends call me to prove a point, and you have me on YouTube, you have me on your platform, and you're trying to prove the point that you're not racist, I would cuss you out on you. Like straight up. And as a black person, that shit disappointed me so much because I wanted Caleb's black friend to cuss him out and hang up the phone. Like, my dude, you are really calling me to ask me if you're racist? Bro, I can't with you. What? Oh, you got your live streaming right now? Oh, I can't. We're like, no. I would have hung up on him so quick. And even his black employee, when Caleb's like, am I racist? Am I racist? I'm not. Da, 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 da. And his black employee, ooh. And the only thing I have to keep telling myself, y'all, is that he's young and he doesn't know any better. He's young and he doesn't know any better, because I know when I was in my young 20s, when I was like an adolescent, I said and did crazy things that, like, the adult that I am, like the grown A woman that I am today, would never do, and would frown and would slap. I would slap but I grew up in a small southern town, went to school around a lot of conservative people, and not like, so like not like the craziness that we see today. It wasn't that bad, y'all. Nothing like what we see today right now in terms of the people who I went to school with and everything, but just like very like dry toast, very conservative. Um, yeah, that's a video for another day. But like, I say all that to say that, like, being young and when you feel like you have to fit in, and especially when it's your boss, and like you're going to like nod and you're going to shuck and jive and you're going to smile big and say, no, for sure not. Even though you see this man using all sorts of slurs against someone else who was black. Like, that is to me so ridiculously crazy. And so I don't know, his black friend and his black employee, because I think what it was is that he called his black friend, his black employee was in the room. I'm just like, do better, do better, please do better. Don't let anyone embarrass you like that. Because there is, like, again, can you fathom? Can you fathom? I cannot, y'all. And to my white viewers out there, please don't do that. If someone ever accuses you, like, if legitimate, you are not racist, at least help yourself by just shutting up and listening. If someone's accusing you of being racist or using racist language, like, listen to what they have to say. Shut up and listen. And then do some reflection and take some accountability if there is truth in what they're saying. If there isn't, just be like, I'm not. And don't use your token black friend or your token Asian friend or your token Hispanic friend or whomever, right, to try to bail you out to prove that you're not racist. Like, let your actions show that. Let your behavior show that. Like, don't use your friends. Don't like rest on that as a reason for people to think that you're not racist. Are you kidding me? Again, I grew up in the South. There are plenty of white people who I know would not care for me at all, but was like friendly to the face. Plenty, plenty. I went to school with a lot of conservative people, okay? And a lot of them, some of them are not like that, but some of them are still very conservative. And we don't talk. I'm not in their orbit. They're not in my orbit, okay? But it's like, just a PSA a little bit, that if you are someone and someone's accusing you of that, and if you care to address it, then do it the right way. Don't commit the atrocity of then calling up your ethnic friend to try to bail you out. Just don't do that. Because again, if someone accused me of being racist or whatever, then I would want to figure out why is it that they think, and also I'm I'm a part of an oppressed group, so how can I be racist? But whatever, we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to. That's a topic for another day, Heffas. We're going to keep this cute. So anyway, so Caleb backpedals, y'all, right? Backpedals and tries to reach out to D'Angelo, allegedly. D'Angelo is not going to have a kiki. He's not going to have a sit down. And I'm like, good on you, D'Angelo, because also you don't need to give that man views. Like, at the very least, and in the words of Funky Dineva, pay me for my pain. Like, if you're going to call me all types of slurs and stuff like that and then want to have a sit down with me, if I do want to sit down with you, it's going to be on my channel. I'm taking all the profit and knowing that that's probably, you're not going to be okay with that. Yeah, we're not going to do that. There is no peace. Like, you and I are good. I don't need to be around you. I do not need to be around you. So, that's essentially like where that situation landed. And again, the results of that, also, let me add this. So D'Angelo apparently was known, especially in his earlier years of doing YouTube commentary, of calling out people like Shane Dawson, and other folks who have done some very like predatory PDF file behavior. And apparently, and see, this is why sometimes, especially if you know you got skeletons in the closet, just so apparently, Caleb, this is about like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, actually was making some very inappropriate comments about a minor. And again, I'm not trying to get banned or, whatever, blocked. You all can look that up for yourselves because it's out there. I had no idea. I was floored. And the comments were so inappropriate. And people were saying in the comments, like, Caleb, this person is like a minor. And he was like, it doesn't matter. And again, I'm like, is this person serious? And granted, y'all, this was 8 years ago. So Caleb was in his 20s. It wasn't like this was when he was a kid. Like, you should know better. You should know better. And you should know that is out there about you. And that's probably part of the reason why Caleb decided to not even try to sue this man, is because he knew that if there was ever a deposition, there would be so much incriminating stuff that would come out that it would make him look far worse, especially in the court of public opinion. So, of course, me like seeing all this information, and for him to accuse D'Angelo of not doing his research, I'm like, I don't know, Caleb. I think you lost the plot a little bit. I actually think this man has come with the receipt. Like, he's showing us the receipt. And again, you just added fuel to the fire where you could have just been quiet. And maybe some people would have picked it up, but no, like the majority, I think, of us, and I think that's safe to say, would not have known about it. I would not even know who D'Angelo was. He's someone, again, very popular, but Caleb is like far more popular than D'Angelo. And D'Angelo says this even on his channel, like, dude, this reaction, like, why? You are so much bigger than me. Why is this your reaction? And now guess what you've done? You probably, if anything, net gained D'Angelo some subscribers and some viewers, because I don't think I subscribed to D'Angelo's channel, but I certainly have watched a lot of his, like a few of his videos. And I had to unsubscribe from Caleb because I was like, no, dude, like, until you issue a legitimate apology and your behavior changes, because words are words. Y'all, look at Kanye. Kanye took out like a page in the New York Times to give his like swan song. And in a way, I'm like, do y'all believe Kanye? Like, drop down in the comments. Tell me, like, do you accept his apology? For me, I'm like, your rhetoric and how you have carried yourself has caused so much damage. My dude, there is no, like, until there is like actual behavior change, we're good. Like, I still don't really care for Kanye as an artist. I miss the old Kanye West so badly because Kanye had those bops and he truly was a great rapper. But like, that behavior is just like, and the racism and all the things that Kanye has like put out there to the universe, that I think has also been a part of helping some very problematic people like Nick Fuentes and a lot of other people, give them a platform and give them a voice to like their hate. And part of the reason why we're in this situation that we're in now, everyone plays a part. So I'm like, thank you for at least sharing your story around your mental health, but let's see a behavioral change. Put your money where your mouth is. Donate then to other organizations and people who are fighting for their civil rights, fighting worthy causes, right? Like, volunteer. Let's see that. Put your apology into some like action. So until I see that, I'm like, okay, Kanye, too little, too late, but thank you. Same thing with Nicki Minaj. I'm like, done. And I love me some, man, it's hard. It's so hard to see your faves go down in flames. I'm like, Beyonce, girl, don't you, y'all, if Beyonce crashes out, that is truly going to be, I think, the sign of the apocalypse. Can you imagine if the queen herself crashed out and started doing like acting in ways that are crazy like Nicki? Y'all, I don't know. I can't even think about that because I'm like, Beyonce, please don't ever do anything like that that's going to make me not even want to mess with you no more. And I don't think Beyonce's that dumb. And I think she's genuine because, we best friends. I just actually talked with her Like, I don't know, it's been like a couple weeks, like she's working on act three. And so we just want to have a quick chit chat as she's working on that, a quick little check in with each other. And, Beyonce told me not to worry, that she's not going to crash out like that. She's not going to do anything to make us all want to, like, I mean, because, there's already some things that I may not like that Jay-Z has done. And Beyonce is his wife, but certainly nothing to the extent when you look at the behaviors of Nicki Minaj, Kanye West. But circling back on all this, I don't like, what would you all do in that situation? So, like, if someone cussed you clean out, like unreasonable, like tore you for Phil, called you, like threatened to sue you, all of that, and then they backtrack and then they want to sit down and have a talk with you, would you actually have a talk with them? Like, how would you react and all that? I'm really curious. So let me know in the comments, especially for my Heffas that watch my live stream and not able to join live. It's all good, baby. You can still interact. I'm really curious because for me, we're done. Like, there's nothing to say. There is nothing to say at all. And so, Heffas, there's that situation. So I'm really curious. And again, if you are completely unfamiliar, hopefully I piqued your interest. Take a look. I would probably actually would suggest you can, like, there's some commentators who have given some like really good like play-by-plays of what's happened. Again, you can check out D'Angelo's channel. You can also check out Caleb's channel. Just I know his 4-hour stream, I want to say, is behind like a members only like paywall, so to speak, subscription thing. And I was like, no, I'm not about to pay to see you crash out and like call this man all types of R's and stuff like that. Like, I'm not about to do that. But it's just unfortunate. And I'll tell you too, as someone who, like I said, like, I looked to Caleb's channel just mostly for the entertainment, but not because I actually took anything that he said extremely seriously, because I thought that he was playing a character. And because I haven't watched, like, there have been some things that he said that I'm like, that's going a little bit too far. But what Caleb's saying, I'm like, well, they consent, da 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 da. And I was just like, well, if you like it, I love it. Like, if your guests aren't cussing you out, and some of them will try to buck up a little bit, but I'm like, okay. So I didn't really pay attention that much. But like, after listening to D'Angelo's commentary, but then seeing how Caleb crashed out and like so unreasonably, I was just like, okay, all right. I can't, for me personally, y'all, if you were someone that's like, I may not like what Caleb did, but I still watch his channel, that's okay. That's, you do you, right? I'm not going to tell you not to support, because I'm not trying to have Caleb sue me. My little, y'all, I'm not even monetized. Yes, Whitney. Yes, done. But it's like, I'm not trying to have this man sue me, because like, real talk, I'm like, well, I'm just a little YouTuber. I'm not monetized or anything. I certainly don't even have the fraction of subscribers or followers that even like D'Angelo has. But you know what, Heffas, you could turn that around by liking, subscribing, and sharing. We could get ourselves up on the path. You could put your girl up, pop your girl up. So that way she can get threatened to be sued, but then deal with these trifling Heffas that then backtrack. Y'all, I just can't. I cannot imagine. I don't know what people are thinking. And I'm like, quit watching reality shows, because if you think that you can talk to someone crazy like that and then think they're just going to like forgive you in a snap and sip tea and break bread with you, baby, you got another thing coming. This is not the Real Housewives, okay? This is not Selling Sunset. This is not any of your kind of favorite reality show. Okay, I don't know what was happening there, y'all. Someone just ran on out. Let me mind my business. But kind of like made me nervous. He just ran out like he was. Let me shut up. Again, we're not in 2026. We're not trying to get arrested, and we're not trying to go to court, because, in the words of Alexander Diane Rogers, we don't play in court. I certainly don't. I do not play in court. I'm not trying to, unless you put me in a position where I have like an ironclad case against you, baby. I'm like, let me mind my business, because I don't know what that man was doing and why he just ran out of the store like that. Let me just keep moving. Disney, I don't have any footage. I didn't capture anything. but y'all aren't running after him, so I guess it must not have been nothing big. Hi. I love the cast members. Like, shout out to them, especially dealing with, like, right now the weather feels good, but like out here entertaining us, making us smile, helping us out in the cold. I felt so bad for the cast members, y'all. I feel so bad for them because where I live, I basically live what feels like on Disney property. So I pass by like all the time the housing, one of the housing areas where they have like cast members who are part of the college program and everything. And I feel so bad for them when the weather sucks, like either when it's super hot, frigid, like that cold snap we had, and they're walking, and especially if they have groceries or things and they're trying to carry that back and it's pouring rain. I always feel so bad for them. Um, but yeah, like we're coming up to an hour of Heffas, and this has been a really great conversation. But let me just part with some words of advice, okay? If someone comes for you, y'all know I borrow Candy's tagline, don't come for me unless you have a check for me. Be thoughtful, y'all, about if you're going to criticize someone, take a page out of D'Angelo's book, have your receipts, and do it respectfully. But then also, if someone comes for you like crazy, and gives you like really bad energy, and like they are away, and they like to the point where they're trying to destroy you or whatever, like do what you can to protect yourself in a way that's smart. Don't give someone power over you. And that's like, and when I say power over you, I mean like in your time. If they're apologetic, let them sit in their apology. You don't owe them a conversation. Like you really don't. Like it just depends. Like y'all, I don't pay people in dust. Okay. Like if I don't want to have anything to do with you, then you just don't exist to me anymore. I'm not going to give you my energy. I'm not going to like validate what you're saying because I don't have time for all that. And so for me, I'm the kind of person where if we're truly like have nothing to do with you, then you did something pretty egregious, pretty bad. So like, don't give, you don't have to. Like D'Angelo was like, I'm not talking to this man. And I think that that's an example for anyone and everyone because someone wants to apologize to you. And again, situations are all different, right, y'all? But like, don't feel like you owe anyone your energy, that you owe anyone your time, that you have to like give them a peace of mind. You don't have to. You don't owe anyone anything. And also, just be very careful how you move and shake in the streets. And again, just be smart because you will have people who are so unhinged nowadays and who are just big crybabies. And it's so funny because the biggest people, and I'm not saying necessarily, I mean, Caleb gives these vibes, but like these like manosphere people who are just like, you know, bring back the Maiden's Tale and men have been wronged and like all that kind of crap and nonsense. And they want to sit back and talk about, and here I am on my little soapbox, but I cannot stand when people are talking about like, oh, like there's certain people who are just so sensitive and we should just be able to say whatever we want to say without consequences. And that's exactly what D'Angelo was pointing out about Caleb, essentially. But people feel like they want to be empowered to say slurs, right? And to say the things that you really shouldn't be saying. And they want to have license to say and do whatever they want to do without consequence. And there are consequences for your action. And I think what's probably going to come out of this for Caleb is that he's going to find out that people don't have to subscribe to you. People don't have to watch you. And the kind of audience you have that like are ride or die for you, that may not want to be the audience that you keep. And it made me think too, like even his producer or whatever, like if I am the producer of your show or if I'm your publicist or whatever, I am not going to you're not going to embarrass me on a stream and try to have me condone your bad actions. And y'all, that comes with maturity. I don't know how old Lindsay is. I'm going to assume that this person's in her 20s and I hope maybe younger 20s and maybe she'll learn a lesson from this because I'm just like, there ain't no way. I'm not going to condone your bad behavior because who am I as a professional if I'm sitting here like high-fiving you and you're talking out the side of your neck and you're doing something that could jeopardize the business, right? There is merit in hiring people or having people on your team who are very experienced and who know what they're talking about and are not just going to pat you on the back for everything that you do or co-sign on everything that you do. I was so incredibly disappointed with his staff. I'm sorry. It was so, to me, disgusting and disappointing to see that they're sitting here bigging their boy up. And I'm like, you know, your boy is wrong. Like, you may not agree with what D'Angelo said, and that's fine. And you can even talk about it. You can talk about how D'Angelo's being unreasonable and how maybe what he's saying isn't truthful. Then give us the receipts, baby. Give us the receipts. Show us the data. Show us the facts. Do that. That's fine. Let's have a conversation. But my God, to sit back and be like, I'm going to destroy this person with my lawyers and then to backpedal like that, please don't give people like that your energy or your time. Don't. You don't owe these people anything that want to come at you like that and feel like they can talk with you and use their money or whatever. Like Heffas, I'm telling you, avoid people like that as much as you can, but also don't live in fear around people like that. Pay them in dust. Protect yourself mentally. Be smart. Be strategic. Protect yourself physically. Protect your mental health. Do what you have to do to create that safe space for yourself and know that you don't owe anyone anything that they're going to come and talk at you crazy. Like, you really don't. You don't. You absolutely don't. And I think that there's a lesson in everyone because, again, the ultimate crash out. Because sometimes, especially if you know you're in the wrong for something, or if you know what someone's saying, if there's a little bit of truth in all that, y'all, maybe talk about that offline with that person, but don't bring everyone into your drama and don't crash out like that because then you're going to actually raise attention. Sometimes it's good to just be quiet. And I learned that if I ever get bigger, and like I say, y'all, Heffas, hold me accountable. Like, first of all, if you see me changing into someone that is not the person, you're like, this is not the Jillian that I knew who started Heffa Nation. You have every right to cuss me out, but do it lovingly and respectfully. Because what do we say again, ladies and gentlemen? Don't come for me unless you have a check for me. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Candy, for gifting us with that great quote. Heffas, with that being said, again, don't forget to like, subscribe, support your girl. And if there are any topics that you would like to talk about, let me know. Because again, it's been a long time since I've actually framed a walk and talk around a specific topic. I used to do that, like especially when I first started out, and we would talk about all sorts of things and I would say that on my thumbnails. Let me know what you all like, because I moved from that to just being very generic, like live stream at Magic Kingdom or live stream at Islands of Adventure. And I started shifting to things that are a bit more general. And I was like, you know what, let me maybe pivot back to talking about a specific topic. So let me know like what you like, what you prefer. If there's ever a topic you want to talk about, let me know. And even if I'm talking about a specific thing and you want to add to that, or you want to add on to another topic, baby, like it is walk and talk. We can talk about anything and all things as long as it doesn't get me sued. Okay? If it doesn't get me sued, baby, we could talk about it. With that being said, Heffas, I hope you have a good one. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.